Hey guys, how are you doing? Hope you are doing great. Yeah, this is the. If you're here yesterday, this is the piece we were working on, and this is the kind of the final render, and you can. I think it came out well. I've just done a quick render of. Hey, Actor Pandoras, how are you doing? Yeah, so we are going to try and do something different today. Maybe try to create some concept art within Blender and see how that goes. But yeah, this is what we did yesterday in a span of, I think it was about 1 minute, 1 hour. Hello, Jeris, how are you doing? There. If you want the project files, you can get them on my Patreon page, and this is the actual project. And see. Yeah. So let's create a new one and see how things go. And we are going to do some basic concept art in Blender and see. So be sure to leave a like just so the stream can get out to a few people out there that haven't come in. So I hope everything is okay. If you see that the audio is not fine, just let me know and I'll see what I can do or what I can change. So we are going to start by creating a simple texture that we can use here, and I have some I think they're called, let me go to my desktop. How are they called? I have these panels here, and there would be a nice starting point for what we are going to be working on here. Just going to use them in the roughness and the bump map this way, so that I don't work with just a plain surface. Something like that I think is nice. And can see the texture is a bit low resolution, so what I usually do is add a convert ramp here just to cut off some of that bad parts. Hello Vivek Gupta, how are you doing? Just make this a bit darker and add in some grind map just to let's go to resources. I have some grind maps here. I could mix those in just so I could break up the roughness just a bit. I only need this to be in the roughness, and that's it. Yeah, so we have some detail in here. I can play with the color here. Now, I'm still just I have an idea of what I want in my head, so let's see how quickly you can get it onto the surface. Let's see. Just going to create a new folder here, call this concept art. Now this is going to be our volume. I'm great, hope you're doing great. Yeah, I'm doing great, I'm doing fine. Shader, principal volume. Again, if you're just getting here, let me just show you quickly what we worked on in the previous stream. So if you're interested in watching that, you can go and watch that. So in the previous stream we worked on, let's see, we worked on this scene here. Just let it compile the shaders for a second as I go back to this project here. Let's just bring this something like, bring that a bit down, start applying some materials. Yeah, for anyone who is just joined us, this is what we worked on yesterday. Let me actually just turn back everything on. And let me show you a render preview of what we managed to render. So we can see we can do quite a lot in an hour because this was done within a period of 1 hour, and I think it came out looking good for the time spent on it. So hang around and maybe we could make something cooler than that. I want to create a very large scene that is centered around something. So just going to give this a nice shader emission. And we shouldn't produce any shadows. And I just want to see how the idea I have in my head will come out of this. So let me add some texture coordinate mapping to this. Change this to box mapping. And maybe give this a bevel modifier. By the way, there's a nice trick. If you want to randomize the rotation or scale of different objects, you can hit F3 and search for random transformation. Random transform. You can randomly transform these. So I can transform these on the random X, random Z, random Y, like that. Even change the rotation if I want to, but for now I just want to change, let's see, maybe the X and Y. I add another light here for our scene. to make the volume of this more powerful, I can even just increase the volume setting for this, something like that. But I want to have some volumetric shadows here, so I can go to the volume settings and turn on volume shadows. I have to have something like that. And if you have nice shadows, if you can play with the shadows a bit, you can get some interesting looking scenes. Maybe let me play with the focal length of the camera. Let me use a very wide camera like that. And this slide, I want it to be a little bit off the screen, at within something like that. And you can see, without doing a lot of work, you can see we are getting something interesting. So I can also go to the viewport and just increase the pass out here, so that I just see. Okay. Now, let me also just make this, because it's a bit too shiny here. Let me see, how long has this been? So 12 minutes. Maybe play with the scale of these details just a bit. And let's see what else can we add. We can continue adding in these blocks here, just to see how they are going to impact. And just like how the shadows are, and to make the shadows the volumetric shadows more crisp, I'm just going to change this the tail size to something like 2, and you can add in some characters. I have some characters in my asset library, so if I go to mega scans, collections, I have this guy here. I can place them somewhere in the scene here to make the scene more menacing and more interesting. You can see him standing right there, and to make the light, to make him stand out a little bit more, I can add a light maybe in front of him. If you're just getting here, don't be shy. Just say hi or say something in the chat. I want to keep this a bit interactive, so that I could talk to you guys. Okay, so we get that light. I want it to be, I just want it to, I don't like the highlight it's adding here, so I'm just going to go to the specular, turn that down, and if I go to the outliner here, yeah, if you're just getting in here, please leave a like so that YouTube can help me out and push this out to people out there. Okay, so you can see you have the character, but maybe I want the shadow. Insane Minds, how are you doing? Thank you. I want the shadow to be a bit sharp. So what I'm going to do is, let me first turn on contact shadows. You can see his shadow is a bit faded. Let me increase the light a bit, and reduce the size. As you see, when I increase the size, the shadow becomes a bit faded. So let's bring it down, and maybe bring the light back a bit. But I don't like the halo thing going on here. I can remove that by removing the volume. Oh, what we can do, we can just change this to an area light, and scale this up a bit, and use a translucent object, maybe like a cube, like that. And inside, we can give this a translucent material and see how that would come out on the screen. So shader translucent, just give it a, okay, I like the greenish color that that has added, and I don't want this to have any shadows, and we can also turn this into a door. I will change this to a rectangle. Yeah, something like that. Maybe add some details on the plane here. Can add a few lines. Just small details like this can make your art look much better. So let's just bring that around there, and you can create a new material, or you can even just use whatever you have already. So I'm just going to reuse this material here. And give it a solidify modifier and a bevel. Something like that. And having some nice repeating detail can add something to your scene. I'm going to duplicate this material and just make it metallic, just so it's a bit more reflective. Now let's turn on screen space reflections and see. And and I think that usually makes these scenes look better is if you add in some wires. So maybe some wires hanging. Let me change the light here and see how this would look with a different. Something like that. If you add in some wires, and a quick way to add wires is you can add a knobs curve like this, and just give it some bevel, and you can control the curve like that. I'm still going to use the same material here. And you can just going to create another duplicate here. Let's see. And can play with the volume just a bit. See what else we can add. Maybe duplicate add in a few shapes here. Let me change my composition just a bit and see. And just continue adding in some wires and see how this would look. Okay, this doesn't look very curved. Just going to add another curve here. Curve. Give it a bevel as well, something like that. I'm going to reuse the same material here. I want these to be like curves. Cables that are hanging off of this. So I just want them to follow this path. And can make these hang even more. I'm just going to reuse these wires in other areas, maybe just have it dangling somewhere here. And I can reuse other assets that I have here. So for example, in my buildings, I can use some assets here just to add in a few details to the simple meshes that I have in my scene. How to become a monk? How are you doing? And let's see what else can we can add in a few other things here just for details. So the colors on this one doesn't fit our scene, so I'm just going to link these so that they have the same materials, and just so they kind of stand out. Or just going to add maybe a lamp in between there. I'm just going to remove these there, maybe make this look a bit rough. Let's make this. Look for a different material here. Just give it this metallic. I think we might need to make this a bit rough as well, so let's see, what else can we add? Let me see if we add, what can we do here? Let's play with the volumes here and see what we can get out of it. If we add some noise out of the volume, so if I add a texture, noise texture, let me just connect these to the density. It's going to be a bit too powerful, so I need to add a car ramp. Now this will help me to control the volume a bit. I play with the scale. If you feed this directly into the emission strength, we should be able to see how the noise looks. Let me just add a math node here just so for control a bit. So the noise is a bit too large, or it's too small, so I'm just going to bring that up just a bit like that. And see if you can get in a few extra details into that. We can get that smoky effect. Maybe increase the detail to something like 6. Make this a bit rough. If you look closely, our volumes have some noise now because of the noise I've just added in here. Yeah, thank you anyone who is watching, and if you just getting here, you can leave a like, and that would be amazing. Just going to scale this back down a bit, maybe not. I like how there is now quite a lot of fog this side. Just play with that a bit, and we can just add another light this side maybe, but this time we don't need the volume. Just want it to light up this side a bit because it's a bit too dark. Let me see here. Let's try something like 500. I have a few other details that I can add in here. If I go to my city pack, that I think would make this a little bit more interesting. So I have a few buildings here, but I don't think for the scale we are going for here, they will be too large. But I have some nice pipes. These pipes usually look great in anything I try to add them to. So let's see how they will look here. I just like to see their silhouette. Let's see if we give this. they make some nice silhouettes. That's why you see that I use them quite a lot. And I also have a few fences here. I think I have a better fence somewhere, so let's look for that. Let's see if you go to building parts. Let me add in these wires on the surface here and see, just to break up. Let's see. I make this guy a bit, maybe that's the scale I need. Hello, Curious Time. Thank you for liking. Thank you. It really does help out the channel, so that's great. Let's see if I add in a few of these lines here, and I just give them a glowy material. So if I just select this, give it a glowy material, it's going to give it shader emission. I think we lack a lot of detail on the surface, so we can, I'm just going to borrow some details that I created already for the previous project we created in the last live stream, and just go to that. I think it's this here, and I just get some of the details we have already made in this and see if they would work in our scene here. You're looking great so far. Thank you, Blender Binge. Blender Binge, is it the Blender Binge? Let me just check, man. How do you even check? Actually, the other one changed his name to something else. So, yeah, I'm going to borrow some of the details here. So I'm going to get this because I think, yeah, this is what we worked on in the previous live stream if you're not here. And I know some of you are just coming in and popping out of the stream. So yes, you might not have seen what we did. So this is what we did in the previous live stream. And we did it in about 2 hours, 1 hour and something. So I'm just going to get this asset here and maybe a few other assets so that we don't have to do everything from scratch. I'm just going to add it to my library. And what other detail could be useful here that we created here. I also liked how this thing came out, this board here. But it's made of multiple objects. So I'm just going to create a new collection, call it light rig. And I'm using my asset library add-on, so I'll just add that there. Yes, render as seen. Render as seen. And save. Now I can come into this project and see where to add it. Add some of the details we have just added. So I think in collection, let me check what category did I put this in. This is in the city park. So in my city park collections, what category is this? Untitled, uncategorized. City park. Yeah, this here. Yes. Okay, it seems I just added the entire collection, not just the object. So let's try again. Just need to select this, rig collection. That's the render. Add. I'm just going to remove this. And yeah, so we have our panel. Yes. Yeah, sometimes it's nice to just know you can reuse the assets you have spent time working on without remaking them from scratch. So just going to reuse this here. Let me give it a bit. Okay, that's a bit too much. So let's try. Thousand. I think this would work better if there were cylinders instead of just cubes. So I'm just going to find something else to use as a cube here. If I go to my metals, let's see, machines, I could use this pipe here, this container here. Your system specifications. Let me just give me a moment, and I'm going to show you. I think I can do that. It's not a big rig. It's a very, very basic, humble computer, so nothing fancy about it. Basically, this is it. Nothing fancy. Just a simple 8 GB RAM, and that's it. And a 3 GB 1060. I'm just going to change a few things about this. Now, if you make these tanks, like vertical tanks, instead of just basic cubes, which I'm just going to delete, I think we can turn this into a more interesting thing. So you can also, I think I had some springs here, these here. If we add them like this, and we can have these look like transformers. Like this is a power rig or something like that. Hello, Burning Bright. How are you doing? You can add a curve. These are going to be power lines, and if you add, so you can tell me about your days and what exactly do you use Blender for, because it could give me a good idea what kind of tutorials you might be interested in making, in watching on the channel. Because right now I'm just spitballing and hoping that this is what you're interested in. But if you could tell me what you are working on, and maybe we could have a discussion on that, and where maybe you're seeing the industry going, as we're seeing quite a lot of automation going on in a lot of things, like the new NVIDIA what is it, concepting tool. I haven't actually tried it out, but I've seen a video about it, and it seems quite interesting and scary at the same time, especially if you are a concept artist. Making a scene from concept art. Nice. In case minds, do you have any examples that you could share in the chat, so that I can see what you might be interested in? Yeah, so this is going to give us a nice silhouette. I just need to pull this back a bit. There. What I usually like to do is group all my lights, like Shift G type, into a new collection called lights, and turn off light by light, just to see how each light is contributing to my scene. So can just switch off everything. I'm working on a project in Burning Bright. I am working on a project in which I will realistically render a pencil drawing in Blender. Nice. Like you're creating like a character, of a realistic character, but you have to render it so that it looks like it was drawn with a pencil. Is that it? I've never tried actually doing sterilized rendering in Blender, but I think that's something you're saying. Okay, see this light here? I don't think it's adding a lot of, so let me just change the color of it, and I don't think it's adding a lot of interesting detail to the scene. This one on the other hand, I think could be interesting. No, it is an architecture drawing. Oh, I see. So you're creating the scene in Blender, and then you want to make it look like it's an architectural drawing. So what kind of industry are you working in Burning Bright, or what kind of industry are you targeting if you're not working? See, I want a silhouette there. You can see it gives me a good detail, and I can also add in some wires. Anishay, bro, how to make a 2D animation? I'm not very good at 2D animations, so I'm not the right person to ask that. But you could use, there are a few applications you could use. Again, it would depend on the style you're looking for, you're trying to go for. And there's certainly a lot of tutorials on YouTube that could help you with that if you're trying to learn a 2D drawing. See, I want to have quite a good silhouettes in here. So let's look at how a transformer rig would look. Electricity transformer. What is they called? How do they call them? I'm not sure. Transformer building? yeah, these here. So we can copy some of the details here, and just so we have them inside our silhouettes. And these are not very, very complicated shapes. You can see it's just a cylinder and then something. So we can do this quickly. I'm just going to just have this in here. Just some extra details. Okay, this format Blender doesn't open, so I'm just going to open it using okay. I'm not understanding the format this is in, but what I can do is just, let's see, transformer rig, transformer electricity, transformer building. What's up? What are you doing? We are trying to create some concept art with basic shapes. You can see what we have gone with this direction. We want to create a kind of a electric transformer place where I don't know how to pronounce it, but yeah, just this setup. Burning Bright, I want to become a concept artist, but I've been using Blender for 7 months, but still I'm an intermediate. Yeah, just look at a lot of time-lapse videos. They will give you an idea on what to work on, and you see that especially environment time-lapse videos, there are quite a lot of good interesting videos out there for that. And so yeah, we want to create a transformer detail, so we want to add in some of these details here. So let's see, what was I looking at? And just go back one step. I think we can, yeah, make this here. Sorry to ask this now, but how did you make those wires on the ground? Which ones? These ones here? These ones are very easy. Actually, let's add in a few extra wires just to show you how I did those. So you can start with a curve, a Bezier curve, and let me just, and then go to the curve data, and then give them a bevel like that, and then just enter edit mode with tab, select any control point, and then hold on control, and then left click anywhere you want, like that. And if you select all the control points, hit V, you can change this to automatic so that they kind of look a bit better, and then you can control one by one like that. I'm not sure if this is what you're asking, but that's how you can do that. And you can also increase the size. If you're asking how I made these specific lines, that's also easy. You just, if I wanted to make wires hanging on this, I would just maybe duplicate this using Shift D, and then extrude, and then I just have to come in here and make them hanging like that. Twoko Kong. I started making renders a few days ago. I made a pot and a broken one, a butterfly knife lying down on a wooden desk, which is, yeah, Tongkwon. Sorry, I'm pronouncing your name wrong, but this is a visual channel, so if you can share the images, it would be better than describing them, because that's more like poetry, and we are more into visuals. So you can share the video, the image, please, so that it's much easier for us to see what you're doing. So yeah, I was actually forgetting. I hope that answered your question. Someone who was asking how to make the curves. Yeah, Rohit hit. That's how you make the curves. Yeah, we want to make this transformer, but I was having an issue with getting this image because it's in a format. Okay, this is JPEG, I think. Yeah, this is JPEG. So we can just drop it into Blender Let me just go back here. And yeah, you can see this is very basic shapes, and you can be as detailed as you want, but I want to just have it inside there as a nice silhouette. So we can start with these fins, and those are just simple planes. That's what I was asking for. Oh, great. That's why I like the live streams, because of their interactive nature. If you ask questions and I can answer them, I can answer them when you ask. And so we're creating these fins, and I think mine are a bit too thick, so I'm just going to change the pivot point to individual origins and then make them a little bit thin, like that. And if you look closely, there is a pipe running inside them. So I can actually, what I could do to make this even faster, I could just select these edges, subdivide them, so that we can make use of the mirror modifier. Where can I share my work? You can use you can upload the image anywhere on the internet, and share a link in the chat. I will check it out. So so this is what we have here. This is our fin, and we can add in a few cylinders. Just going to reduce this to something 16. Yes, auto smooth. How often are you streaming? I've just started streaming again, but I want to do it more like maybe on a daily basis, depending on how things go. Because when I do the time-lapse videos, I get a lot of questions. I get a lot of requests asking me to do a step-by-step tutorial, which I could do, but I think live streams are much better if I want to kind of explain the steps I'm taking, as you can ask questions and I'll be able to answer them. Apply that mirror and then just get this. So is any of you doing Blender for as work, or earning money using Blender, or are you just all doing this as a hobby, or maybe planning to have it as a job later? Because I just learned about PBR texturing. It's amazing. Yeah, it changed quite a lot when it was first introduced in Blender, and I think it was introduced in I don't remember which version, but 2. Not very. It's a relatively early technology in Blender, so I do this as a hobby, later as a job. And in case minds, what kind of jobs are you targeting? Because the interesting thing about Blender is that you can actually get it's a large field. You can apply for a lot of things. You can do game development. All you need is to just specialize in the industry you're trying to target. I'm a game dev guy for 25 years. Oh, that's nice. 25 years. Have you made anything we might... have you worked on anything we might know? Or any cool projects that you could share? Also, game dev is my hobby too, but I hope I will be working in this field in year. I'm 6. Okay, so you have been in game dev for 2 to 5 years, not 25 years. I see. Nice. So which game engine are you using? Unreal, Unity, or what exactly are you using for game development? See, I'm using basic shapes just to get a nice silhouette, and let me just see how this looks in our scene, because right now it's off screen, we can't see anything. I'm just going to put it somewhere here. You can see that detail coming up, so we can work on it and continue to see how it's going to render here. In case right now I'm making my own creations in Blender. Okay, that's a bit broad. What kind of creations do you, what do you mean by creations? Is it well, is it ArcViz? Is it what do you mean by like that? Because that's a bit broad. I have no finished project, but I have tons of prototypes. I'm using Unity. Nice. But don't get caught up in prototyping. Just try something. Just try and publish something. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just so you know the process, the entire process, what it takes. Because usually what you might find is that you enjoy the game development, but you don't enjoy the publishing process. So if you can go through the process one time, and you know what to expect, it's always nice to have that knowledge, rather than waiting to first publish or create a ready game to play. It makes things a bit, yeah. Let me just see what I can do here. There is also this. You absolutely same as me. Vivek Gupta, same as you in what? What are you pursuing? Are you saying it's the same as Tong Kong, sorry. I also have a Google Play developer account with one shitty game I made in 2 days. Yeah, as long as you have something out there, it may seem shitty to you, but the people enjoying it may find it very interesting, so you never really know. Trong King Kong. Oh, sorry man. There are a lot of names here, and my English or my accent is going to be a bit, yes. You will have to forgive me on that. Yes, so like Donkey Kong, like Trong King Kong. Nice. Okay, hopefully I don't forget that, but I think I've got it now. So let's add in a few extra details here. Just trying to make and then we can borrow some of the wires here. Rohit Tete, do Studio choose on what software you have to work, or we can choose whatever software we want, like MyApp, 3D Max? Well, it depends on the specific studio you want to work with, but most of them will want someone who already knows the program they are using in-house, because that's usually what is integrated with their pipeline. But again, because of how easy it is to transfer files from one software to another, it might also not be a big problem. So the great thing is if you're good enough, the studio will compromise and let you use whatever software you want to use. Otherwise, they might require you to start to use whatever they're using. Oh good, my 1 hour for my render. You're rendering something, so thank you. Good. Let me just give this a material as well. And then maybe add, okay, we need to ground this a bit. Let's check out this. I'm rendering volleyball balls for an hour already. Like how detailed are your volleyballs? Because I think 1 hour is a bit. And how many frames are you rendering exactly? Have you tried render farms? Yes, I have. I actually got a sponsorship one time for a render farm, and I think I tried them out. But the issue was, I don't really do a lot of things that require me to use a render farm, so I don't really necessarily need them because, if you're not aware, part of my business is just to sell these 3D models I make, or sell these. Let me see if I could show you this CG Trader account here. And see, this is like my 3D store, and most of the work I do here, I put it up on my CG Trader account, like this here, and see if I could sell some of the projects. So I'm just rendering still images, and let me see if I can show you all of it. Yeah, they're just one frame. It doesn't matter if it takes an hour, it's just going to be one frame. So maybe 3 to 5 frames that I usually render. You can see the project I did a few days ago already up here, and it has sold a few times. You can recognize most of the projects here already. I see this one here that I made maybe 3 days ago as well. It's already here as well. So I don't really need to work with a render farm because I'm rendering just a few frames for every project I'm working on. Where is... Let's see if I duplicate this further. Give me a link. I want to sign up there. It is cgtrader.com. cgtrader.com. It's that, and it's the site I would recommend anyone who's trying to get into selling 3D models, because TurboSquid is yeah, their commissions are just bogus. They are the worst. So let's continue adding in a few. Maybe adding this here could be. Yeah, scene 3Ds have get by hours. Do you, I think you're asking if you get paid by the hour. No, you don't get paid by the hour. You get paid per sale. So when you put up something up on the marketplace and you sell it, you're selling it like a product, a digital product. If someone downloads it, they have to they buy it. Basically, it's that. People are just buying your assets. So are you selling models or pictures? I'm selling models, 3D models. The images you see are just there so that the customer the customer knows what they're buying. And let me just show you, for example, on this one here. You can see I give them I show them different angles and the different assets that they are going to get. Sometimes I even throw in a wireframe. And this is one of my best-selling models projects there. Let me show you this one here. And a lot of these are just people buying them to use them in their game engines. Because creating something like this can take you a few hours. So if you can just buy it for a few dollars, yeah, it just makes it easier. So you don't have to spend that time yourself. You can just get an already pre-made thing. Okay, so let's see what else can we add. I think this place here is a bit dark, so I can add maybe a light here. And I mean, have you ever worked on other places that do pay by the hour? Yes, I did. Actually, no, I don't think I've done something for per hour. It's usually per project. So I've done a few projects, 3D projects, per project that we were paying per project on Fiverr.com. But yeah, work there was a lot too much for me because I was handling a lot of things. I was doing programming, I was doing YouTube, I was doing CG Trader, I was doing so I couldn't work with clients because clients can be a bit demanding. They want you to be available whenever they want you to be available. It's not up to you. So I kind of started reducing the amount of work I tried to reduce the amount of work I was getting from clients just so I can have control over when to work and who to work for. But I have done projects like that, yes. Just adding light. Right now I'm just adding in random random things just so see how. Okay, that's a bit too much. I'm just going to not do that. And I think in the building parts, so let me ask you, do you guys watch 2-minute papers? If you don't, you should. You really should. 2-minute papers, because this is where you see where the graphics industry is going, or the 3D industry is going. Most of the things I've seen here, I've seen before they came into any other 3D application, and then a year, 2 or 2 years later, you see them being added to Blender. You see them being added to 3D Max and everything. This channel, you should really, check out this channel. It's a great channel for things like that. And you can see I watch most of the videos they put up, but they are putting up quite a lot. Watch hide and seek game. Yeah, the one where the AI was looking. Yeah, that was very interesting. As if you don't know what he's talking about, is there was an AI game that could look for the character and try to kill it. But none of these, if and else kind of video games that most video games are. This is I think was using neural links. Yeah. Let's see what else could we add in here to make this more interesting. Let me see if I do this. It doesn't seem to work very nicely there. Let's city building parts. Let's see what else I could add. Can add in these here just to add some structure detail like that. I like how cloth and water simulation are getting almost real time. Yeah, there is that curve simulation, water simulation thing he did. Let me see if I could get the video. Okay, I don't think yeah. This wave water simulation thing that he was showing off, I think it's one of the most interesting. Instead of using the regular water simulation, it was just, let me see. It was just using curves, drawing curves to create. Quite interesting, because getting that kind of detail, you need quite a lot of resolution to bake. It's very, very interesting, very, very impressive. It's where you go to see the future of 3D, I think. And he's very well educated in what what he talks about. So his topics are very well researched. I think we need a different focus point than this plane here. These cubes here, they're just not as interesting as I wanted them to be. So this here, can just make this a bit larger. And now we can drop in this in other places. Just always try to reuse the objects you have already created. No one is going to know. Just make this more powerful. Just make the density I think we're getting somewhere. I don't like how reflective this surface is, so I'm just going to change that a bit. Do you think that NVIDIA's canvas will replace concept artists' job? Well, you're never really sure about those things for sure, because you can't really predict technology like that. But it for sure is going to replace a few jobs. That's certain. And at least for jobs that are going to require less, they're going to require less people than they do right now. And let me see if I can even get the video for that. NVIDIA's, because you usually tell yourself that no matter how good the technology is, the artist is going to be required. But usually, what studios are businesses too, and if they can minimize the cost, and even if it comes at a small price of creativity, they may take it, because they're always working on a thin profit margin. So let me see, NVIDIA's canvas. Is it canvas like that? And where is the video? Yeah, this here. I just get rid of this ad. It would take a while to replace artists, but if real artists are, maybe another thing it could do is change what softwares artists are using. So you can see that the artist just draws a few shapes, and then maybe it may not replace artists as artists right away, but what it's going to do is make our jobs a bit harder, especially when you are trying to negotiate with a client. Because if a client who is not very familiar with concept art comes to you and after seeing this video and it tells you that I want to do concept art, but I know you're going to just use software like this, you're just going to draw a few streaks like this and then send me the work. Why should I pay you this amount that you're asking? So it's certainly not going to be the best. This is not the best news that a 3D artist can do. This is not the best news for a 3D concept art artist, because it may not replace you, but it's going to make it harder for you to negotiate with clients, especially bad clients. Good clients maybe not so much, but yeah, you always land a few bad ones every time, so it's going to make your time with those ones a bit difficult. Just pull this back a bit. And let's also add in some camera movement. I really love your channel full of knowledge stuff and too free of cost. And any series is in the future like Mouse you did before. Thank you, Rohit. I think I'll continue doing a few free series, depending on how you guys receive them. Mouse, he's talking about. I made a hard surface tutorial series about, and let me see, mouse modeling. Top channel. One-on-one. Yeah, so making this mouse here. So yeah, it was a hard surface tutorial series that you can watch. I don't know if I have a playlist, if I created a playlist for it, but yeah, you can just search that if you want to watch that. And you see how the lines here look? I think this place here needs some bit of light, so let's add that in. I'm just going to borrow a light from this. Let's try a different color. And the other thing we could do, I don't like how it is too uniform here. I could add in a few shapes, maybe just borrow other shapes we already have. Yes. And for this object here, just going to remove any normal map detail. Now we can use an array here. What GPU are you using? I'm using a 1060. 3 GB. So let's see what else can we do. I don't like how these wires are looking here. Just going to get rid of them. Yeah, for this light here. Have you tried Wildcard freelancing with CG Trader? Yeah, I was actually offered I was invited for that program for the Basically, Wildcard is CG Trader has. Okay, I could have showed you, but that would show you some account information. I don't want to show you. I don't want to link. But Wildcard is just clients, CG Trader clients. If you don't know what that is, CG Trader clients request specific models to be made, and if you're an artist, you can apply and then apply for those specific jobs. And when you make the when your application is accepted, you can make the models and then deliver. And you can actually make quite a lot of money there doing that, because their jobs are always available, and I always get a lot of notifications that there is new work for me. But the problem is that I'm running a lot of things. I'm creating add-ons, I'm creating Blender content, so it's really difficult to meet the expected timelines, and they want you to be there, to be available every time. So that's what has restricted me in going to do that kind of work. Can you recommend any offline video player for Windows that slow down fast moving? Yeah, VCL is a good one. And let me show you. So I think you did ask a question like that. So let me show you. Just use VCL. Let me get one of those tutorials or videos. Yes. Yeah, so this is a video I worked on. That is already on the channel. So if you're using VCL, I think if you go under to playback, you can change the speed here, and there is a shortcut. If the left bracket can slow down or speed up, so you can do that if you're using that. Okay, I don't like the contrast that I'm getting here. Sorry, VLC, not VCL. Yeah, VLC, not VCL. I'm not sure why I called it VCL. Will we get any Blender Octane videos in future? No, I don't think so. I don't think I even have Octane installed. Let's see. Randomly came across this video. Let's see how you make smoke without volumetric. Then I don't think you can make smoke without volumetric, because smoke is volumetrics. It's also, you can't really do without it. Yeah, so this is the animation we have so far. Yeah, wildcat is what I'm doing most of the time, but I really feel the pressure. Yeah, you definitely feel the pressure, because the timelines they expect you to reach are kind of intense. They need, and that's why I also stopped working on Fiverr, because they need you to be online 24/7. So I couldn't do YouTube and other things while doing Fiverr. And then I also tried Wildcard, but again, like I said, the amount of time you need to be using on that it's kind of insane. So Prit in the Sing Obama, I thought is something different. something else. What do you mean? What do you mean? Do you mean Octane? Because I see you asked about Octane, but so what do you guys think I can add in here to make it more? I don't know. Hi, Shadow Cones. How are you doing? Yeah. If you're here, please, you can spend a few seconds to leave a like. It helps out the stream. And, just, I thought you could make smoke without using an add-on, some add-on. Yeah, there are certainly add-ons that could help with that, but you're going to need volumetrics regardless of whether you're using an add-on or not, because that's how, at least to my knowledge, that's how they are rendered. That's how smoke is rendered using volumetrics. So let's see what else could we add in here. So this is where we are at right now. Have some nice details, some nice volumes, I think. I forgot to say that about the Joker scene. You recreated the original scene is narrow, but your camera angles is slightly different. Yeah, you can't really create everything to pixel perfect, especially when I'm making these. You can see mine might be a bit wider. This VLC, every time I play back, it turns off. It readjusts. Actually, I need to save. So you can see in my scene. Let me see if I can open up that project, because I have 2 projects opened. And let me see. Let's talk about that Joker scene for a second. Let me see. Okay, which one is specifically? Because I made 2 of them. I have the corridor. I think it's under 2021 August Joker corridor. Yeah. There is this corridor scene, and there is this other one here. This scene here. So I'm not sure which one specifically you mean. So there is this corridor. The shaders are still compiling, so I have to wait for them for a second. Let me just play for you the rendered version. Yeah, so there is this one here. Yeah, I think this was a bit wider. My corridor was a bit wider. I don't know if I have. Yeah, so you can see. Actually, maybe they're not. It's the same. I just eyeballed the distances, so it might not be on perfectly set. By the way, you can get the project file from Patreon if you want to get that. This one, hospital. Did this live will upload? Yes, the live streams are always saved. So if you want to check them out, you can check them later. Small notice: see that the starting sidewall, the yellow reflective ones. What do you? I'm not sure what you mean. Shadow cones. What do you mean here? Do you mean small notice? See the starting sidewall reflecting yellow. I'm not sure what you mean, because these reflections would be, I don't know. Yeah, because I was rendering this in Eevee, and Eevee has some issues. Just a bit. Go ahead. Let's see. Yeah, I'm not sure what you mean here, but yeah, yeah, there is a light here. I just for aesthetics. The lighting doesn't have to be accurate, so just to make things look good. Can you make a tutorial about texturing too? I have a whole texturing series. If you want to watch that, let me see if I can find that. Texturing top channel. If you search for texturing top channel 1-on-1, there is a full. I have a lot of videos on that. There is this one. There is this one. There is this one. There are quite a lot of tutorials. Some of them are from Blender 2. Is it 7? But the interface doesn't change that much. Wait, what? Wait, what? You get those reflections in Eevee? Yes, these are Eevee reflections, and there are a few tricks you can do to get better reflections in Eevee. Maybe let me show you a few steps you could take. Add some ground volumetrics. Okay, let's going to do that. Please make a full tutorial on post-apocalypse scene. Yeah, I think I did a live stream on that. There is a okay, so and I have a few post-apocalypse scenes. Yeah, so you see that the reflections here don't really look as good as what we have. Here. So when I'm rendering, I just crank up my samples here at something like 200. Yeah, 200 is usually enough for my computer to render without crashing. And if you go in the screen space reflections, you can see what I have for that. And I also have, I think, this reflection. How is it called? Reflection plane. And if I hide that, you can see some of the reflections just go away. So you can also add in that to get those nice reflections. Do you use Octane Render? I rarely do. Can you please see my channel, how good I am with Blender? Let me see actually. And let's see. Okay, I'm not sure how to click to select your channel, but I'll check it out later and see. Tell us something about you. Well, there isn't that much interesting stuff about me, so yeah, I'm not even sure where to start. Yeah, so if I add a reflection plane here, I want to see how these reflections would look, but I don't think my surfaces are that reflective. And sometimes it's you have to play around with this. Actually, not sure how the reflection plane works, but I know it works somehow. No, dude, I need a pro to tell that how good I am. Please, one request, please. Yeah, okay. You can ShadowCons. You can post a link at your channel, and I'll see if I can check it out now. I'm new at Blender, and I can't make something without a tutorial. Could you give me some tips or recommend courses for learning? Yeah, mostly if you're starting out, you're going to have to use tutorials, base your knowledge or your skills on tutorials. But as you go on, you will get better, and you will start to understand how things work, and you won't need to follow tutorials for everything. Is that bad if I can make something? I can't make something without a tutorial. Is it so hard? No, that's how everyone starts most of the time. Even me at where I'm at right now, sometimes I have to go watch a tutorial or two for more complicated things, or even just forgetting how I made tutorials, how I made some certain things. I go back and watch my own tutorials if I forget, because I do really forget sometimes. Yeah, Shadowcon, you can link your channel in the description. You can add your channel link in the chat so that I can see. So I'm not sure what to add on here, so I don't know. Are you working on some freelance projects at the time? Not really. Well, my main businesses are just selling 3D models on TurboSquid, CG Trader, and other platforms. I do get work, but I turn it down because the requirements and time limits, time constraints that I'm given, I can't meet them while doing what I'm doing with YouTube and add-ons and other things I'm working on, side projects, because I don't want my entire income to be based online, as a few things can happen. These online sources can just decide to cut you off. YouTube can decide to terminate your channel. Other platforms can decide to do the same. So I'm trying to invest outside online channels. So sometimes I'm spending my time doing that, especially in real estate here. I'm in Uganda, which is a kind of a third world country, but that comes with its limitations and advantages. And one of those advantages is that the cost of construction or real estate is a bit low. And so, for example, if you were living in the US, to construct or to buy a house that would earn you about, let's say, $500 a month after all expenses, you would need something like, I don't know, 50,000 to earn 200 a month here, or 500 a month here in rentals is going to be expensive, but not as expensive as what you would expect in the US, because of the limitations that are, all the requirements and building codes, the maintenance, all those things that you need to keep up with. The taxes, the amount of taxes you're paying there are just crazy. So the cost of living here is a bit low, and but maintaining the property, your properties, is also a bit low. So if I invested in a property in the US, I would make less than what I would be making here, which is another advantage to living in a third world country, I guess. Yes, his channel is amazing. Thank you, Discovery. It's really amazing environment. Yeah, but setup nodes I'm wondering, but it's so hard. Okay. Let's see what else can we do. Again, when I'm not sure what to do, I usually try switch off all the lights in my scene. So I just make sure that they're all in my collection scene. Then turn on one by one. See, I think that this silhouette already looks amazing. And then let's add on another light. Okay, I'm not sure which one this is. Doesn't seem to be adding anything. So I can remove that. This here, this light here, no. Okay, I want this to be there, but I don't want it to be that heavy, so let's hide it for a second. And let's also reduce let's see, 700. Any tip to model a pineapple? Okay, that could be that's a bit complicated. Pineapples are really complicated. They have a lot of repeating details. So sculpting would be your best option. So let's see, pineapple. Watching you from 3 point. Oh, nice, man, nice. Yeah, that's that has been a while, but I will get there slowly by slowly. Yeah, you need to sculpt in these details because I don't see how you can model all this detail in. Nice. Yeah. Let me actually see 3D model. Let me see how other people have handled it, because this doesn't look like it was sculpted or anything. Let me work in incognito so I don't show anything. There is an add-on called tissue that might be useful for a sterilized pineapple. Oh, nice. Okay, I don't think I should be showing that. There isn't any tip on how to. Okay, not realistic. I think a pineapple is a bit difficult. You can see even these. Yeah, the details are not coming out very well. So pineapples it's a very complicated model. I wouldn't even know how to start. Will you make a film? That's something I'm planning ahead, but films are quite expensive to make. If you're saying 3D models, that's the same thing. They're also quite expensive to make, and they take quite a lot of time. So something I'm thinking of in the future, but not in the near future. Maybe you can use array and bend modifier. You can, I guess, you can create the shape from a single. Let me just do this. Apply geometry and then maybe extrude. You extrude one face. It's going to be a bit difficult to make, and then use the array modifier. But these would have to be straight. Yeah, I guess you could do that, but it's not going to come out very realistic. I have seen node wizards do another fruit with a lot of detail using procedure displacement material. Yeah, now that is just adding more difficult on top of something already that is difficult. Procedure nodes, I don't even try messing with them there. Yeah, not my thing. Procedure displacement. There is a lot of math required to do something like that in procedurally. Go to a grocery store and make a photo scan. I guess that's another way to do it. Maybe even a faster way to do it. Just 3D scan the thing instead of trying to recreate it yourself. You do conduct a competition. Choose 5 best worker, and let's create an epic scene. Yeah, that's a great idea. Have you guys tried the Fizz? Is it? I can't pronounce his name, but he's creating a challenge, a dynamic machine challenge, and I wanted to do a video about that. Maybe trying to recreate something. I won't be submitting anything in the competition because I don't really have the time to do anything interesting. But you guys could. I'm sure you've already seen the videos about the dynamic machine contest, and I've seen some interesting stuff. Yeah, so maybe we'll do a live stream on that for something. Yeah, Punisher. How do you even pronounce that? Because it's not really Punisher, but Pro Ali course of engine. It was made free to download. Yeah, the challenge has a project file that is free to download. If you're talking about that. Punisher except with edgy. With edge? Yeah, I can't pronounce it. Let's see, what else can we do? Yeah, I think we are done with this project. Let's open up the dynamic challenge project file. I got it too. You can see I just have this, and maybe before I end the stream, let's try doing something quickly here. Maybe see how we could approach something like this. Don't text dot next. What do you mean? What is confusing you? Remake a cyberpunk scene. Do you have anything in mind that you want to remake? Yeah. So if you want to enter the challenge, this the Punisher of Punisher's dynamic machine contest, you can download the project file here. It is going to come up like this, and maybe let me show you some physics tips that you can use. So let's say you wanted to create a roller coaster slide, or a slide that this ball could have that could follow. We can start by using a curve, something like this. Yeah, I know the stream is going a bit off rails and all over the place. I'm just trying to keep things a bit more interesting, and just whatever is coming to my head is what I try to do. So, and I know some of you are trying to enter this competition. It's a nice competition. Let me show you how you could make that ball roll. I haven't tested this out, but I know this is one way to do it. Procedure textures are a little advanced. Yeah, they're a little advanced, but I think he was talking about procedure displacement textures, which are even a step higher than procedural textures, because you're now dealing with 3 dimensions instead of 2 dimensions that you deal with in procedure textures. So double the confusion, double the difficulty. So we're just going to make a simple slide here. And for that, we can. Are you trying to follow the? No, I'm just going to use a physics simulation. You can create this slide profile. Just do something quick here. Smoothen it like so. I'm just going to apply the scale and give it an array, and I'll just use Shift E to make this sharp. Shift E. And I give it a curve deformer. And if you want the curve to be exactly at the center, let me actually turn this to random line. You can just move it to the position of the cursors of the your procedure 1 default cube channel goods. You could use the add-on that does this automatically. Don't remember what it's called. It's actually really cool. That makes rigid body systems, or that I don't know. Now for the ball, we can. Okay, why is this using cycles? I want it to use EV. Then we can have this as a rigid body. Physics rigid body. I'll make sure you are rigid body. This is going to be passive, and the shape should be a mesh. Apply the scale. If we play back, let's see if this will fall. deformed. Okay, let's see. Okay, so I'm seeing a few keyframes here. That tells me that this is animated. So let me first switch off all these keyframes. See, why is this not? This doesn't have to be a rigid body, so it does this. The ball enters at 100 frame. Does it? Oh, I see. So that's why the animation is there. Well, I just want to start the animation right away. I'm not going to submit anything. I just want to show you how you could have this work. So let me just get rid of these keyframes and make sure this is dynamic. And if you see this orange bar here, it means that there is cache, or the ball dynamics have been cached. Or so I just have to go back to the physics, I think, rigid body physics, and clear the cache, delete the back. Let's see, why is it still not moving? So I have this as active, and okay, let me first delete all the back. I've deleted all the back using under the physics tab, delete all the back. So let me first add another sphere here just to see rigid body active. Okay, why is it bouncing away like that? Okay, let me apply the scale of this, apply the scale of this. Let me get rid of this rigid body. Something is blocking this, so let's make sure that nothing is hidden here. No, it doesn't work. It works sometimes. So all of you guys have been getting these, have been having these issues, I think. So let's see. Sphere. Okay, so this project has a few issues that I'm not sure what they are. Let me hide. This is not a rigid body. Let me read. This is also not a rigid body. So the ball itself might be a bit too large. Yeah, so if you're getting the same issues that I was getting, just apply the scale of this ball here, because I think he scaled it down and never applied the scale for the original shape. So now I can give it a rigid body first, and it should work just fine. Let me get rid of this. Play the animation and wait. You don't have to wait for the animation, as you can see that it's already working now. So as long as you don't have the cache backed here. So I want this to be a sphere, and this can be a rigid body type passive. And sometimes it won't work if the surface is too thin. So I'm just going to add. Actually, that might not be the problem. I'm just taking my normals here. If you go to the rigid body settings, this should be a mesh, and passive. Let me just scale it a bit. Let's try adding a solidify modifier. And that's the thing about the rigid body system in Blender is sometimes it's very hard to get to know exactly why something is not working. So I can try applying this and applying the visuals. So that is a single mesh, and you can see now it works. But I still want to, it's already a mesh. This cover Blender, you're saying I should convert it to a mesh, but it's already a mesh. It's just that it's using modifiers, and since it's using modifiers, actually this should be mesh, and this should be deformed. Final, sorry. So let's see. Yeah, final, and I should Just get rid of this mesh. Yeah, that's exactly what I thought. And applying these modifiers will get rid of the control I needed. Because you see now the ball just slides, but then slides off here, which is not something I want. Ball should be a sphere. Yes, it is a sphere, and it's also given it a sphere collision property. That's why I think things are working exactly as I expected them. And as the ramp position where the ball touches. Yes, Discovery, I would check your channel. Let's see. So you see that here, I don't like how this twists, so I can just go back to the curve. That is why I didn't want to apply the modifier and just rotate. Actually, rotate this part. And I think if you turn on proportional editing, also this, yeah, I can rotate this. Okay, so the ball just what's going on here? It's going through. Okay, I believe you would check, at least comment in the video. Yeah, I do. I will. Can increase the margin here, the collision margin, just a bit. Reduce that point. Yeah, you know what? Let's go back to our project we are working on and finalize that, and we can get back this, because this you need a few things to figure out this, how the design and everything that I'm not going to be able to do in this period. So the ramp has a problem. Yeah, there are things that you have to figure out, and when it comes to rigid body, you have to do a lot of tests and simulations that it doesn't really make sense to work in a live stream setting. So this is what we were making. And, the colors look a bit monochrome, but sometimes if you want to make your stuff look even better, you can go in the color section and play with the contrast. So that's a high contrast for you, and I can also do some color adjustments here, some real-time color adjustments, just to see how things are going to look. Yeah, that's where we have. Nothing happened for you. So if you're talking about the this project file for the dynamic machines challenge, it has a few issues. So like you saw, we were struggling there, but you just make sure to apply use Control A, select the ball, and use Control A to apply the scale, and I think that should fix some of the issues you're having. Set standard and very contrast. Standard and very high contrast. Yeah, that's looking good, but the problem with standard, it also kind of overexposes some parts. So film just gives you that detail. The challenge is over. Is it? Nice. I haven't checked out any updates from him, so yeah, that might be true. Let's see what other things can we add in here. You can even try to look at this from different angles just to see how things look. And see, I think this looks quite detailed. These silhouettes came out a bit nicer. What do you think about animation nodes? Well, animation nodes is a different project, I think, from the main Blender project. But the problem with some of the projects that are being worked on in Blender is that when they are first announced, there is a lot of hype, so you expect quite a lot from the announcement, and what you forget is what we usually forget is the amount of time that is required to bring those projects to life, and usually the expectation is your hype. The hype starts to fade out before the product is live, before the product is becoming. So my internet is bugging out, so I'm just going to end this